And a very good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the live stream coverage brought to you by the MoMac team here on Rally Otago. We're back at our position here in Special Stage 12 on Windsor 2. So the same position we brought you those fantastic footage from Stage 10 this morning, and Stage 9 rather. So here we are back in Stage 12, same position, and waiting for the first cars to come through. They've been at a 45-minute service at Oamaru this morning, and of course the first cars have left and are about to start this stage. They've been through a short 14-kilometre stage 11, Mahino, and that started at 10 o'clock this morning. The cars then go straight from there to Windsor here at Special Stage 12, a repeat of Bobbing Creek Stage 13, back to service in Oamaru for 25 minutes, and then the final two stages of the day. So good news we have heard is that Darren Galbraith and Rocky Hudson have re-entered the event and are back on the stages in the Ford Escort RS 1800, competing in the Classic class, of course, car number 14C, so that has rejoined and is back in the action. The first cars to come through us again this morning will be the four-wheel drive Classic cars, and the first car on the road will be car 101 Ray Wilson. So it's been an exciting morning. Hayden Padden, we think, has probably put down the gauntlet, as he has on each of the stages so far in the 2019 Drive South Rally Fest, and he certainly has been the man to beat. His records have been falling. But Ross, what sort of an update do we have on the times at the stage?
Looks like Ben Hunt has passed Dylan Turner for second place overall. Interesting to see that actually in stage 11, actually beg your pardon, stage 10, Emma Gilmore got second fastest time overall. So really good to see the local hero Emma Gilmore out there in the Suzuki Swift, mixing it with the rest of the New Zealand Championship guys. And obviously she would have been right up and amongst it had she not had the problems from yesterday.
Indeed, and I think Rana Horan may also be out in the Skoda R5, the gold-coloured Skoda. He did come through our service, our vantage point here, but not sure that he actually made it through stage 11.
Not quite sure. It looks like in stage 11 he was 7th overall, so
okay.
I just haven't got the overall updates at the moment, unfortunately, but he still seems to be pedalling alright. 7th overall. Matt Summerfield was 6th. Emma Gilmore was 5th. This is stage 11 results, guys. Stage 4. Oh no, I'll just backpedal out of that because unfortunately I just linked into 2018 results. Technology at its worst. Or might be just me.
Alright, just waiting for the, as we mentioned, the first car to arrive on the scene for Special Stage 12, and that should be Ray Wilson and Donna Elder in the Audi Quattro S2. Of course, Ray Wilson from Pocono, Donna Elder from Havelock North. And following the four-wheel drive Classic cars, we will then have the full Classic field, and then we start with the NZRC and the Asia Pacific Rally Championship cars.
Why does it do that?
So, looking at the conditions, we thought it was going to get a little bit drizzly, and the weather was going to pack in. The wind has dropped down. That chill factor is not quite as bad as it was a little earlier, and the conditions have stayed dry, and the road looking very fast and swept, of course, for the second time through Special Stage 12, the second pass, Windsor 2. And thank you to all those people who have sent in their comments from around the globe and around New Zealand, enjoying the MoMac live stream coverage. The team here, of course, have come to the event on a voluntary basis, and you may have seen the GoFundMe page banner at the bottom of the coverage, and this is to help the guys cover the costs of bringing this live stream coverage to you today. So the overalls after stage 11, it looks like Hayden Paddon now has a 4-minute 45.2 second lead to Ben Hunt. Dylan Taylor in third place, and just 10 seconds between Ben and Dylan Turner. And then we go back to Phil Campbell is in fourth place. He's 6 minutes and 26 minutes behind Hayden Paddon.
6 minutes 26 seconds.
And then is Jack Hawkswood
In front of Andrew.
Andrew Hawkswood. Then Job Quantock, Josh Marsden, Garrett Thomas continues to stay in ninth place. Kingsley Jones 10. And then we get to Dylan Thompson. Matt Summerfield up to 12th place. Of course, he lost a lot of time yesterday and has managed to carve his way back up the field and into the top 12. However, as it has been pointed out, of course, that is the NZRC cars and probably does not include the Classics times, which would be in amongst those competitors. So we wait for the first car to come into the stage. Ross, 12 stages down of Rally Otago. What's your impression of the rally this year?
Well, I must say, yesterday the stage for me was obviously the super special stage around the streets of Dunedin. The crowd was fantastic. The spectacle was amazing. So many people wanting to put on a show. Frank Kelly from Ireland in that escort that just absolutely sings its head off. The V8 Avenger, the Commodore V8. It was just, it was fantastic. It's just a variety of cars, a variety of people, variety of drivers. But hey, a real bit of a shame that Hayden Paddon knocked a tyre off the rim and had to crawl around just to get over the finish line. But I think otherwise the whole weekend, fortunately the rain's kept away to date. It's just the amount of people out watching, getting good support from the locals, the amazing variety of cars, drivers and roads. That's just an amazing rally, Grant.
And 127 cars started the event, which was some kind of record, and it just shows you how popular this event is. And we've talked about the Australians competitors, the number of Australian competitors over here taking on Rally Otago. We've got a crew from Japan, the crew from the driver from the Philippines, the crew from New Caledonia. So an international flavour amongst the drivers and the crews competing in the 2019 Drive South Rally Fest.
Okay, so you thought that one was up to date? Start again.
So just waiting for the first car, quite a bit of a delay. We did expect the first car to be coming through, and yes, here they come. And this is Ray Wilson and Donna Elder in the Audi Quattro. Of course, as we mentioned numerous times, the car carrying the livery of the Neurological Foundation, the big N on the side of the car. Neurological Foundation, of course, no doubt, doing a lot of research into motor neuron disease, the awful disease that claimed the life of that car's owner, and of course one of New Zealand's most well-known rally drivers, the late Malcolm Stewart. So great to see Sue and the team with the car still on the stages and in the hands now of Ray Wilson and Donna Elder as we watch the car disappear in the distance from the wonderful shots coming to you live from Special Stage 12 and the MoMac crew. Wayne Muckle should be our next competitor to come through. Car number 102, Wayne Muckle from Ashburton, co-driving with Tania Cresswell from Woodville. A long way from home, a long way south. Here they are in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 3 Group A. Wayne, of course, has competed for many years both in rallying and had a dabble on the circuit as well, and good to see him back in the four-wheel drive classic class. Car 105, Phil Collins from Motueka with Tracy Spark beside him. Another Audi Quattro Coupe, car number 105, should be the next car on the stage. And coming into view here is the beautifully prepared Audi Quattro of Phil Collins.
Why? Can I only get 2,000? Sorry.
Phil Collins and Tracy Spark in the Audi Quattro Coupe. As we wait now for Tom Bond from Dunedin. Co-driver Neil Woolley has made all the travel across from Australia to sit beside Tom in their Subaru Legacy, car number 112. And the Subaru theme continues with our next competitor, car number 104 from South Otago, Murray Marshall. And sitting beside him is Chris Thompson from Oamaru. So he would have felt quite at home at the service park today.
Yes, indeed.
And wherever you're enjoying the coverage from today, you're most welcome to send us a comment on the Facebook link page. Nice to have your comments coming through as we provide this interactive service of live stream coverage with MoMac. Of course, a number of the competing cars have chosen not to do League 2. I think in the mainland series the drivers only need to do day 1, and that's possibly why not so many cars in the field for day 2. So as we wait for our next crew to come through, Dunedin pairing of Zeki King and Mark Thompson, car number 111. Otago Rally has not used the stages so far north for a year or two. One of the stages, in fact the last stage they competed on, Mahino, was actually a new stage that hasn't been used before. Windsor 2 here of course, the second time through, so no doubt they will have refined their notes and they'll be going quicker and quicker. Ray Casey from Cromwell, Jimmy Martin from Alexandra, the Nissan Pulsar GTI-R, car number 110. The next competitor to come through should be Neville and Hannah Kramer from Invercargill in the Subaru Leone RX Coupe, car number 114. Of course, 3 more stages following Windsor 2 for Rally New Zealand, for the Rally Otago today. And if you'd like to see the competitors going over the finish ramp at the Octagon this afternoon, the first car going over at 3:30 as the Subaru Leone RX Coupe of Neville and Hannah Kramer comes through our vantage point here in Special Stage 12. As the Toyota Celica of Willie Hawes from Christchurch comes into view. The Splendington TTE livery, but with slightly different colour markings on this car. As I mentioned earlier, Willie's gone to the orange and the green on the design. The TTE cars, of course, were green, red and white. Probably something to do with the Castrol sponsorship the TTE cars carried back in those days. But there he goes, Willie Hawes in his Toyota Celica GT4.
Just quickly, got some times through from the previous stage 11. The Classic 2-wheel drive class, Osberg winning still, Asen second by a minute 28, 13.4 back to Regan Ross. Jeff Judd's fourth in that class, a further 3 minutes 35 behind, and that's the top 4 in the Classic 2-wheel drive class.
On screen now, Greg Keane and Nick Jenner from Dunedin in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 1, car number 115. And that is the final of the 4-wheel drive Classic competitors, as we now head into the International Classic Rally part of the 2019 Drive South Rally Fest. And the first car to come on screen running in reverse order will be Rob McConaughey from Dunedin, with Sean Turner beside him in that wonderful sounding little Toyota Starlet 1600, car number 37C. Should be the first of our Classic competitors. Oh, hang on. So all the action coming to you live from Special Stage 12, Windsor 2. Coming free courtesy of the live streaming of the MoMac team. And thank you again for those who have made contributions to the GoFundMe page to support the MoMac crew to bring this live streaming coverage to you over the 2 days of Rally Otago. If you'd like to hop on board and make a donation towards the expenses the crew incurred to get here, that would be most appreciated. As we wait for the first of the Classic competitors.
Oh.
Nope. That obviously is a restart entry on for the 4-wheel drive Classics, and that
Willie Hawes coming through slowly. before.
Indeed, this time it sounds like the Rob McConaughey Sean Turner Toyota Starlet 1600. Indeed it is.
Oops.
And
Just showing you
Rob
live
McConaughey
footage.
is just going through the marshalling tape. I guess that is a withdrawal.
You want that?
Oh, the Starlet's died. Looks a little
So-
bit terminal if you're taking your helmet off.
So Sean Turner out of the co-driver's seat.
Just wait for James to give me a go ahead. Just keep the camera on.
And
Got
yes,
the Zector out. Put the Zector out.
Start back on track. Start back on track.
they have retired as Adam Fisher, Jilly Fisher from Wellington, and their Toyota Starlet comes through the stage as the second of the Classic competitors.
It sounds really sweet, that Starlet. The driver responsibility to put the Zector out to warn other drivers that there's a car on the special stage, even though he's actually gone through the safety tape at the junction, parked well clear. No chance of anybody actually hitting him, but it is the rules and regulations that they must put the Zector triangle, safety triangle, 50 metres before the scene of the what may have been an accident somewhere out the back sticks, but in this case he's just had a retirement and pulled straight ahead at the
And we
junction.
can see Rob looking in the bonnet of the car, under the bonnet, and obviously things not all well for Rob McConaughey's Toyota Starlet. As Marty Rostenberg comes into screen, Marty Rostenberg from Auckland, Pat Norris from Nelson, in this newly built Toyota Starlet car number 29. I'm sure Marty's starting to get back into the groove after having not sat in the hot seat for a number of years.
Start back to action.
Probably a good 15 or 16 years. I think the last event he actually did was the Pikes Peak hill climb, and Andrew Hawkswood fire breathing Evo 9. And I think Marty had a little bit of a tip over up the Pikes Peak hill there in America, Colorado, is it? And
Audio split screen.
back in the hot seat now in his Starlet, very similar to the one they built back in the 1987 Rally of New Zealand. Probably not quite as quick as it used to be, still sorting the car out with ratios, gear ratios and diff ratios, etc.
As the beautifully prepared Mark Escort 1600 of George Keast from Invercargill comes into the stage and heads towards the junction below us, car 34C. Fantastic images from the MoMac team watching the car heading off into the distance from our vantage point here in Special Stage 12, Windsor 2. As we wait for the Datsun 1200 of Ian Elliott from Oamaru and Tom Milliken from Queenstown, car number 33.
Nice. There we go. Sweet little Datsun 1200 Triple S. Early 70s, very popular in the early 70s throughout the country as rally cars, very well balanced.
How spectacular it is, Todd.
And of course, as we mentioned earlier, Otago Rally 1976. The event was won by Datsun 1200 in the hands of Trevor Crowe.
We'll focus on the rally cars for now.
As we now wait for David Lawrence and Darren Davidson. Australian pairing in the Datsun 1600.
Just to give you an idea of the sweeping effect between the stages, Wayne Muckle was one of the faster cars with the in the four-wheel drive classics, and this second time through on the stage he's actually 23 seconds quicker than the first time. So in 25 k's, 23 seconds. So the road's getting faster, a little bit more knowledge about the stage and where each corner goes and how fast you can go and which gear you've got to be in, of course. So that's just an indicator that stage times are getting faster. I wonder if Hayden Padden can take another second a K out of his time. You want to put a beer on it?
All right, here come the Garricks from Wanaka. Murray Garrick, Lockie Garrick and their Ford Escort, car number 28C.
It's running on 3 cylinders, I think, Grant. Oh dear. Oh dear. He's going to get caught.
And here he comes to catch him, Ed Mulligan from Australia with Claire Bruscini in the BMW 325i. Ed Mulligan, a long-time rally competitor from Australia and another one of the popular Australian visitors to come and enjoy the stages here in Rally Otago. Ed Mulligan, car number 24C. And next on stage today should be Eddie Gray from Greymouth with co-driver Josh Schaefer and a Ford Escort RS 1800. Car number 32C, and here they come from Greymouth. Eddie Gray disappears off into the distance. We wait for our next Australian pairing, Daniel Callanan and Alan Steen. Another Ford Escort RS 1800 and car 20C.
This thing sounds pretty good too, doesn't it?
An ex-classic competitor to enter the stage should be Deborah Kibble and Heather Johnston, the all-female crew. Deborah from Waimate, Heather Johnston from Dunedin. Deborah, a former Group N rally champion. And the Mitsubishi Lancer EX Turbo, car number 19C.
Just come back closer to us just a little bit, so you basically are in the middle of the road. on the roads in the middle of the frame.
So just a little bit of a gap as we wait for Deborah Kibble and Heather Johnson to arrive.
It's actually quite a big gap, Grant. I hope she hasn't had a problem.
Well, chasing her through the stage will be Mark Lawton in the Hillman Avenger
I can
V8.
hear the V8 coming. I think Deborah might have had a problem.
And here he comes, Mark Lawton in the big Hillman Avenger V8. Well, the V8's big. The Avenger's not so big.
I think Mark's appendages are quite big.
Whoa!
There we go.
Come on, Todd. Hey. Roger that, cutting to right now.
And only half the number of cylinders coming in the next one. Miles McElwain and Michael Bunyard from Whitianga in the Toyota Corolla AE86 car 30. So watch the wonderful drone shots from the MoMac team.
It's a proper chopper.
As here comes Miles McElwain and Michael Bunyard.
Can't recall Miles ever having an accident. I can't remember ever seeing that car with a dent in it.
What's your plan, Ryan, on the next one?
Fantastic, the amount of miles he's done. Good on you, Miles.
And of course your similar Toyota Corolla AE86 is now in the hands
Of Gary
of
Cowan,
Karen Cowan, that's right.
based in Christchurch now. Actually, that would have been a good classic car to have down here, wouldn't it?
And still has the Hills livery as run by Ross
I'm
Meekings
not
back
sure
in
whether
the
it's still
day.
got the Quaif dog box that it used to have. It was a fairly high maintenance bit of gear, but here we go.
As we wait for Brendan Mitchell and Ross Taylor. Brendan from Winton, Ross Taylor just slightly further south in Invercargill, the Datsun 1600 car 22C. Through the junction they go here in special stage 12, Windsor 2.
Just a quick sideline, Marty Rostenberg through in the brand new Starlet. Well, not a brand new Starlet, but a brand new rebuilt Starlet. And 25 seconds quicker than he did the stage earlier. Well, just going to try and keep bringing up some comparisons like that as we go.
I think up to you now, and Ryan is up.
So 25 kilometre stage, he's obviously a second faster
Second
this
Piquet faster.
time through. Second Piquet, yes. As we wait for the little Toyota Starlet, the giant killing Starlet of Tim Smith and Brett Madron, car 38. What a peddler this young man is, Tim Smith. Won his class at the Westland Rally by 4 minutes, and he's doing a fantastic giant killing job in the little Toyota Starlet here at Rally Otago, car 38C. And just notice that looking at the fast guys, the NZRC guys, stage 11, which is the stage before they come to us here in Windsor for the repeat of the stage, stage 12. But in stage 11, Matt Summerfield was second fastest to Hayden, and 1.8 seconds ahead of Ben Hunt. So Matt Summerfield getting more and more comfortable in that Mitsubishi Mirage. As Craig Barclay and Daniel Mills from Balclutha come through in their Ford Escort Mark II car 23C. As you watch the Bell Clutha boys heading down through the latter part of the stage, the second half of the stage, watching it from the bird's eye view of the MoMac drone.
Just a stage comparison between stage 9 and the repeat stage 12. George Keast did 16:01 first time around, and this time 15:42.
There's Barry Varco and Fleur Pedersen in the Toyota Celica TA64. Head to the junction.
I just love that car. Fleur might be getting the thrill of going sideways again after being with Barini for a few years.
Of course, as we mentioned earlier, Fleur sitting beside Barry due to the fact that Brian Green recovering from a rib injury and was unable to drive his Mitsubishi Mirage AP4, which, as we just mentioned, is in the hands of Matt Summerfield. And Matt, of course, just recording the second fastest time in the previous stage, special stage 11. So Brian's regular and very long time co-driver Fleur Pedersen sitting beside Barry Varco in that magnificent Toyota Celica. An ex-Australian pairing to come through the stage is Darren Snooks and Michael Forshoe in the Datsun Stanza. Car 25C. As we see Darren Snooks disappearing down away from the stage to the finish line, we wait for Andy Martin from Tauranga and Matt Hayward in their Mazda RX-3.
Back in the day, John Wolfe used to drive one of those. Unfortunately, tragically killed in a rally in America. John Wolfe and Grant Whitaker. That particular name now is, those two names are now actually on the trophy for Rally New Zealand. First New Zealanders in the Rally New Zealand, the John Wolfe for the driver and Grant Whitaker for the co-driver trophies. Well sought after to get your name on that trophy. And of course Rod Millen drove an RX-3 with a lot of success as well.
So Andy Martin and Matt Hayward in their Mazda RX-3 as the Dunedin pairing of Richie and Rachel Chadwick in their Toyota Levin Car 10C. We wait for them to come into view and into our live streaming coverage here with the MoMac team from Special Stage 12.
Ed Mulligan across the finish line now. We have a time of 15:17. Previous stage was 15:41. Same stage, of course, in stage 9. So he's gone a little bit quicker this time around. Very well prepared BMW, that.
And just watching Richie and Rachel Chadwick heading through Special Stage 12.
It's Carl Robinson.
James is on.
And the next car onto the stage, Roscoe, that you've got.
The practice in front of the corner, then you just through the field where Isaac is.
Just the Grant Walker
No.
Tracy Juhers.
Carl Robinson. I'd say Carl Robinson, EDA escort. And it's like both 2017, 2018, Carl unfortunately broke axles in both of those rallies and had a DNF. He's looking more likely to get a result this time round. Walker.
Ready? Yep. Now, James, right.
Next escort RS 1800 into the stage. Here is Graham Ferguson from Greymouth and Ross Moody from Cromwell.
Get ready. 3, 2, 1, now.
And I do believe that
This is so good.
Darren Galbraith and Rocky Hudson, we had heard, had restarted the event. Their Ford Escort 14C, so I'm not sure whether they're coming up. Not quite sure where they're going to be seated in. It was a note on
And Isaac.
the live streaming, the live timing notes that they had re-entered, but haven't seen them at this stage yet. So this will be Graham Ferguson and Yep, Graham Ferguson
Very close to
and Ross Moody.
corner, so you have to reposition the faster. Exactly. I'll give you the cues.
Graham's done 2012 Classic Rally, 2013, 16, 17, 18. Obviously a pretty much a regular for this event.
And a very nice sounding Ford Escort RS 1800
And
indeed.
the fourth year with Ross Moody.
And talking of nice sounding escorts, here comes Jeff Judd and Sarah Brennan. And the B&T Ford Escort RS 1800. Jeff Judd, of course, competes in Ford Escorts. He's got Subaru Impressas, a number of cars, but here in the classic field in his well-known RS 1800, Jeff Judd, Sarah Brennan, car 5C. As we wait for Stuart Reid and John Mortimer from Australia. Stuart Reid, another regular competitor here in the classic field at Rally Otago. They're driving a Ford Escort Mark II and a car number 6C. Very nice,
He's
very
pushing.
fast. He's pushing hard. Stuart Reid and John Mortimer, regulars from Australia, as we wait now for the amazing sounding VW Golf GTI of Dean Buist. Carl Celeste in the co-driver's seat. Dean, of course, a long time competitor of Ford Escort RS 1800s and has been developing this Volkswagen Golf GTI, looking in the similar liveried colours, design. That Kenneth Eriksson came here to Rally New Zealand and finished second overall. Dean Bewis turning that car into a very quick classic car indeed. Had a few teething problems in its development, and in fact yesterday
After
had
the
some
finish-
issues, but great to see them back.
After the finish of that 1987 rally with Kenneth Eriksson, the VW team allowed him to pull a two-wheeling stunt down on the Auckland wharves before they put the car on the ship to go back to home. But I guess they wouldn't do it before the rally, just in case. But what an amazing versatile driver, stunt driver as well.
Didn't he have the record for the longest two-wheel drive?
Listen to this, Grant. Listen to this.
Ooh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Regan Ross and Samantha Gray. Regan Ross from Kaikoura, Samantha Gray from Timaru, the Ford Escort RS 1800.
It sounded like he might have exceeded the 10,000 RPM red line there.
With just two more classic cars to come before we wait for the man of the rally, Hayden Paddon, number one on the road for NZRC and the Asia Pacific Rally Championship field.
Regan Ross, of course, was the winner of the Classic Otago Rally in 2018, last year, 5th overall, magnificent result. And the year before, he's 7th overall and 2nd in the Classic, so behind Marco Martin. So he's had a pretty good string of results.
As Derek Asen heads down to the junction, Derek Asen from Gore with Nikita Gibson from Dunedin and the Ford Escort Mark II. And just one more classic car to come, and that is Mats Ostberg from Norway, Torsten Eriksson from Norway, and the Ford Escort RS 1800. Mats Osberg, of course, enjoyed the event so much last year. It's great to see him come back and have another crack of the classic stages here of the Classic Rally of Otago.
Oh, here you go. Mats really knows how to get the best out of these cars. No wasting effort going sideways, no wasting time going too sideways, just putting the power down, and probably not the most spectacular as Regan Ross, but certainly getting the good times out of the car and leading the classic field as a result.
So there we are, that's our classic competitors for you. Mats Osberg, number one, of course, the classic cars coming through in reverse order. So we just wait now for Hayden Paddon to arrive. So we have a 5 minutes gap between the classic competitors and the first of the NZRC cars. So while we wait at this point for Hayden Paddon to arrive, we'd like to just make some special mentions of some fabulous donations we've received today from the GoFundMe page. Of course, the MoMac crew are here providing the live streaming coverage for you today, completely free of charge, unsponsored, and volunteered by all the crew. So the GoFundMe page is to pay for the expenses that have been incurred for the crew to get here. Obviously with a crew of 8, that's quite an expensive exercise to bring the crew from all over the country to come here. They've given up their time and are just absolutely enjoying the filming and the magnificent coverage. As you look down from the drone now, you can see the headquarters for the MoMac team. There we are, there's Chucky, our video editor, waving to the crowd at home. Say g'day mum. Hello Chucky Junior. And there he is. He's the man of the moment. He's the one that switches all the gear and brings the live action to you from the cameras situated on the stage here. So as we said, complete volunteer crew, and
How's this for
because
technology?
they were
Look at
not
this.
able to...
Incredible.
Here we go.
There
They're
we
coming
go.
into us.
Hi guys.
So here we are, guys. This is the commentary team sitting on top of the hill, and we'd like to say a very special thank you this morning to Woodend Automotive for a $1,000 donation towards our fundraising. Woodend Automotive, Dave Ollis and Mike Beckinsale, thank you sincerely for your support. Gemma and Garrett Thomas, of course, tied up with the Woodend Automotive team. So a magnificent contribution for the $1,000 that matched another $1,000 anonymous donation we had earlier. So we absolutely appreciate that you appreciate the coverage that MoMac are providing you with the live stream here from Otago. And there we have, that's Isaac down on one of the cameras. So we're slowly, I think, flying the drone around to show you where our camera positions are and where it all feeds back to our temporary headquarters on top of the hill with the Wi-Fi tower, all of the cameras Wi-Fi'd streaming through that tower, and then the footage, which is compiled and edited by Chucky, heads out to your screens wherever you're watching throughout New Zealand. And of course we've got people watching from afar abroad as South Africa, from Cape Town, people in the UK, Isle of Man, from Australia, from Ballarat, from Queensland and around New Zealand. And it's been great to get your comments coming through the Facebook page. The wonderful thing about Facebook live streaming is it becomes interactive, and you can put your comments back to us here in Command Central, and it's great to have all your support. And thank you to all those people who have provided funding and a donation to the GoFundMe page. $5 to $1,000, whatever you can provide. It's a huge help to cover the cost of the live streaming here from stage 12. And here he comes, Hayden Patton.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ah. That's as quick as you're ever going to see in this country, Grant.
What a magnificent display of rally driving from Hayden Patton. And John Kennard is, of course, his regular co-driver, now retired from years ago. Great to see John Kennard back in the car, sitting beside Hayden for the Otago Rally. And of course, look at the dust that this car kicks up. Fantastic images coming to you from the MoMac live streaming crew here on special stage 12, the second pass through the Windsor stage. Now, he's certainly sent the benchmark on this stage this morning, so I know Ross will be eagerly looking for his time to see how much and if he can take time off his first pass through the stage this morning. And here comes Dylan Turner from Auckland, Malcolm Reed from Christchurch, in the Audi AP4, car number 8, Dylan Turner. Of course, in a great battle for championship honours today with Ben Hunt, who will be next on the road. And not sure of the overall positions from the last stage, but I think Ben Hunt was still in the lead, swapping around about a 10-second deficit either way between Dylan Turner and Ben Hunt. So this shows you how competitive and how much on the limit these guys are pushing to try and get top honours for the New Zealand Rally Championship competitors. Of course, Hayden Patton not collecting points in NZRC, so that leaves Dylan Turner and Ben Hunt, it appears today, to fight out for the top spot.
Of course,
And
Hayden
here he
already
comes.
lowered the record this morning by a minute 40, so we look forward to the finished result to see how much further he's going to lower the record.
Ben Hunt,
Ooh,
Tony
no, a little wide on
Morstrom.
the exit, but
I'm sure that car's sounding more angry than it was this morning.
going strong.
Ben Hunt, former New Zealand Rally champion.
Of course, that's a production-based car, quite a long wheelbase compared to the shorter wheelbase AP4 cars that are the car to have at the moment. So you might actually call it an old generation car by comparison. So he's going particularly well.
And I guess these fast stages probably suit a car like that a little bit better.
Well, it's probably running around 1500 kgs ground compared to 1300 for the AP4 car, so he's carrying a couple of extra 100 kgs for a start.
I'm on James now, right?
Some great shots
doors.
coming in here. Here comes Matt Summerfield and Nicole Summerfield in the Brian Green Mitsubishi Mirage AP4. Oh, Matt is onto it. He's having a good go.
There you go. Nice. Back on the boil.
Very nicely done. Looking at those shots, fantastic of the Mitsubishi Mirage AP4 for Matt Summerfield heading through the stage. So Ben is now in second place. He's 13.4 seconds ahead of Dylan Turner, and that was after stage 11. So what a fantastic job Matt Summerfield's doing in that car, and of course he's probably one of the NZRC competitors that's been writing his notes for the longest. Well,
Apart from Hayden Padden maybe,
Yeah.
but Matt and Nicole made the decision 4 or 5 years ago to write their own notes, getting away from the notes provided by the organisers, which are computer generated system. So it's good to see that they're getting fairly confident on their own system now, making the most of it.
as Phil Campbell and Malcolm Peden head down to the junction in their Ford Fiesta AP4. Phil Campbell from Tauranga, Malcolm Peden hails from Cambridge.
These cars, they go up through the gears pretty quick, don't they?
So we do have news that Darren Galbraith in the red Cossack BDA Escort owned by Regan Ross has rejoined after service, so not quite sure where in the proceedings they will come through, but good news to see that car back on the stage. And this
Looks like Brendan.
This is Brendan Reeves. He was on the road running ahead of Matt, but now just behind him. So Brendan Reeves and Rhiannon Gelsomino from Australia in the Ford Fiesta AP4.
Which we believe is his sister.
It is indeed. The car, of course, owned and developed by Brian Stokes. So I'm sure team owner Brian Stokes will be very pleased to see the pace that this car is showing since they started its build and development a year or so ago. Next into the stage we should be seeing Emma Gilmore. Emma Gilmore rejoined today, of course, after mechanical issues yesterday. And no, it's Josh Marsden and Andrew Graves in the Holden Barina AP4. Had a few niggling issues that dropped them down the order for Josh Marsden yesterday, but the car looks to be running fine today. Josh Marsden and Andrew Graves, the Holden Barina AP4. Of course, 2 of those cars were built, and the second one was originally campaigned by Greg Murphy. He's retired from rallying now after a short career, but he did a great job in the time that he entered, and that car is now being driven today and in the next event by David Holder.
Just a little bit of a break between competitors to keep you updated on the results for the classic 2-wheel drive cars. Mads Osberg, of course, leading that class. Lowered the time earlier on in the special stage, a 25k stage, stage number 9, with a 13:29. Beat the previous record of Marco Martin, set here in 2016, in probably the same car. At 14:18 was the time, down to 13:29. I can tell you Mads has completed the stage today, special stage 12, and he has taken another 28 seconds off the record for the stage. Fantastic going, Mads Osberg, 13:01. To give you a quick rundown on his history, I will just find my notes here quickly before the next car comes along. Matt's first WRC rally was in 2006 in Impreza. First stage win was in 07. Won the 2012 Rally of Portugal in a WRC car, Ford Fiesta. He's done 120 WRC rallies in total.
Into view now comes Andrew Hawkswood and Jeff Cross from Auckland in the Mazda 2 AP4. Andrew Hawkswood won the New Zealand Rally Championship after 20 years of trying, and it all came down really to the final event. So a year that the championship went all the way virtually to the wire. Just quickly, I can tell you that Emma Gilmore stopped in stage 11 but is now touring to stage 12, and Josh Marsden had brake issues this morning with the pedal going to the floor.
Just update on the stages with the classics once again. Regan Ross, also a brilliant time of 13:10, so Mats Osberg was 13:01. To get 13:10 for Regan Ross is fantastic, and being chased hard by Derek Asen, 13:12. So those guys also under the record set previously a couple of hours ago by Mads. And Dean Burst did a 13:20. Jeff Judd, 13:28. Excellent.
Well, here comes Garrett and Gemma Thomas from Darfield in the Subaru Impreza WRX. What a fantastic team. Of course, Gemma's father is David Ollis, and he owns Woodend Automotive, which is our very kind benefactors to the GoFundMe page by $1,000 today from Woodend Automotive. And they support that car for Garrett and Gemma Thomas. So thank you once again, Woodend Automotive, for your support to all the volunteer crew here and the expenses for bringing this live streaming coverage to you from the MoMac team.
Great.
So a couple of people we are missing there is David Holder and Jack Hawkswood, who should have been through before Garrett. So we'll just try and see whether either David Holder, or perhaps the issues that David had with that car means he didn't continue, because of course last time in stage, or the first time the stage was run as Windsor 1, we heard the car come past in not very good order.
Jack Hawkswood had started the stage, but he might have lost a little bit of penalty time maybe. We'll keep you up with play with that. Oh, Grant, I'm fizzing in my boots here. Waiting for Hayden Padden to get to the finish line. I'm keen to see what time he's done. It's going to be through shortly. Woo.
And of course, as we mentioned just a moment ago, we have heard that Emma Gilmore was stopped in stage 11 but is touring to stage 12. We'll just wait and see whether she comes through. And unfortunately Graham Coey went off the road in stage 9 this morning and is a permanent withdrawal. So we wonder why we didn't see Graham come through on the timing. So we'll keep you up to date with what's happening as we find it out for Jack Hawkswood and David Holder. But behind Garrett Thomas, the next car we should have on the stage might be Job Quantock and Grant Mara in the Skoda Fabia AP4. Wee bit of delay here. So just looking around this fantastic Otago landscape from the drone, and it looks like we have Jack Hawkswood coming next. Indeed it is. Here we no.
What is it? Bryn Smith. Yeah, Jack started the stage, but obviously stopped in the first.
So that's the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 9 of Bryn Smith and Andy Beck from Auckland. So a couple of other cars that were on the stage before them this morning that haven't appeared yet is Job Quantock, as we mentioned, in the
Ooh.
Skoda Fabia AP4.
Listen in the distance.
And also the Scott Simpson in the Volkswagen Golf.
You can hear Clinky coming a mile away, can't you?
So here comes.
No, this
Oh,
is
here we
not
are.
him.
Here's Jack Hawkswood,
Oh, okay.
but he's going slow.
Clinky must be catching him.
So
Yeah.
sad news for Jack
Yeah.
Hawkswood. He was going so well. And here comes Clinky, the
Woo!
flame
Fire
throwing,
breathing.
fire breathing Mazda RX-8. And you can watch it from the live stream coverage here from MoMac. You can see from the drone how much Clinky is catching up on Jack Hawkswood.
Jack's pulled over, as you would. Don't want to hold up Clinky too much, unnecessarily. The rally safe computer would have kicked in, of course, letting both crews know that there was a situation.
So Marcus Van Klink and Dave Neal, long time and successful crew in the two-wheel drive Mazdas. Previously a Mazda RX-7s as class champions, and now with this new Mazda RX-8.
Okay, we have some news. The winner of stage 12, Windsor 2, Hayden Padden, lowered the record now again from 11:46 down to 11:33. I can't see anybody beating that for a few years.
As Dylan Thompson and Amy Hudson come through the junction here in stage 12, and their Subaru Impreza WRX.
Unless, of course, Hayden comes back next year and he's bound to break his own records, because that's what he does. Ben Hunt was second in the stage with a 12:10, 36 seconds behind. Pretty admirable sort of a drive right there. Brendan Reeves back on the pace. 0.2 of a second behind Ben Hunt, in fact, pretty close there. Matt Summerfield did a 12:12. 0.8, that's only 2.4 seconds behind Ben Hunt. Dylan Turner, 7.9 seconds behind Ben Hunt. So you can see that the top guys and Brendan Reeves are all pretty close. If you take out that alien, Hayden Padden.
Jack Williamson, Brenda Williamson, Subaru Impreza STI, all the way from Raglan to Otago. The other news we have received through is that David Holder had fuel pressure issues to the Holden Barina and this morning, but was hoping to keep going at service. So let's hope we see David Holder back out on the stages in the AP4 Holden Barina. As the Williamsons disappear into the distance, we wait for the next car to appear, and this could well be the Skoda R5 of Kingsley and Waverley Jones. So of the three Skoda R5s in the event, the Joneses one still going strong. And good morning to some of our viewers watching around New Zealand, around the world today. Hello to Kyle Cotton, great footage on this channel, best I've seen yet. Thank you very much, Kyle. Kevin Martin, thanks for the drone pics. Johnny Herrick says, watching live from the Sunshine Coast, lads. Wish I was there with you guys. If you bring the sun with you, we'd appreciate it as well, and a bit of warmth. G'day to Johnny Henry. Oh, he says, great to see the drone up in the air. Ryan McDonald, yes, he's drone pilot extraordinaire. Hello to Jonathan, go Mads, and also a call out here, hi to Chucky. Chucky's busy working, so we'll pass it on later. As Anthony Jones and Tania Gwynn come through the stage in their Ford Escort, car number 28. The Waikato pairing down here at Rally Otago. And Kevin Martin says, beautiful countryside, rally heaven. Yes.
Oh yeah, baby.
Indeed.
James now.
So it looks like we might have Frank Kelly coming next.
It sounds like it. Looks like it. Stand back, James. That's my nephew standing there with a camera. Another volunteer, James Howard. Good on you, mate.
Oh yeah, go Frank! Noise for the boys.
Shivery in your trousers.
Oh, baby blue. He's flying.
Oh, I just had a bit of a rush.
Frank Kelly.
Didn't know you get adrenaline standing still. Sitting down, rather. Just take a bit of a breather.
Take a breather, Roscoe. Take a breather. Got some water here if you need it. The defibrillator's in the back. All right. Next car onto the stage. Maybe.
Frank Kelly, you can come back and do this rally anytime.
Here comes Bruce Herbert and Bevan Parker. Bruce Herbert from Palmerston North, Bevan from Sanson. And the Mitsubishi Lancer EX Turbo, car 25. Fantastic shots coming from the drone. Gives you a real bird's eye view of the landscape here in Otago and these fast flowing roads here in Special Stage 12. Magnificent shots. As we wait for the next competitor to come into vision on Stage 12, Windsor 2. A little bit of a lottery as to who this might be, because somewhere out there Darren Galbraith is supposedly still to come. Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 9 of Matt Adams and Lisa Hudson, car number 20. So looking on the horizon, those threatening clouds have certainly moved away. The chill factor's dropped off a little here in stage.
Just
and
looking, Bruce Herbert's pedalling that Lancer EX Turbo rear-wheel drive, that's how old it is, quite well. He's actually setting some pretty good stage times.
and here comes Eugene Prunet and Philippe Delroux in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 9, all the way from New Caledonia. Place you rallied once, didn't you, Ross? No, Tahiti.
Tahiti we did, the mighty 1300cc Corolla. Finished 4th overall actually. Another Waikato crew, Stuart Eyre and Stuart McFarlane, won the rally in an RX-7, and there's some pretty hot competition over there, but they weren't very reliable. Fortunately, a few of them dropped out, and we managed to slip into a 4th overall in a 1300cc car. They'd never actually seen a 1300cc rear-wheel drive Corolla before, let alone a right-hand drive one. We had a lot of fun. Didn't see Matt come through.
So next will be Nigel Lawson. Nigel Lawson for Mosgiel and Bryce 80. And their Mitsubishi Lancer, car number 109, should be the next one through. They started behind Eugene. And then it looks like we get Scott Jones and his Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8 will be the next on the road following.
Are we missing Scott Simpson?
We are indeed.
Scott Simpson was going really well. He was up to 8th overall at one stage. Well, that's a bit of a shame.
Nigel Lawson from Mosgiel comes into view, heading down towards the junction in Special Stage 12. Fantastic vision coming back from the drone
And I'm going
to our screens
now.
as we cut back now to the next competitor come through the stage. It should be Scott Jones from Pleasant Point, and his co-driver is Shane Reynolds from Temuka on their Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8, car number 35.
The ridge here,
Again, a wee bit of a gap.
there's going to be a bit of a gap.
Scott Jones, Shane Reynolds, Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8.
Ryan.
The next one will be the Sean Haggerty and Sean Sands and their Subaru Impreza WRX. So through this morning ahead of them we had Andrew Travis from Australia in that Nissan Gazelle, but we haven't seen Andrew as yet.
Just hold it, Ryan. Yeah, go on.
So Sean Haggerty and Sean Sands are next on the stage. This is car number 26, Sean Haggerty from Rangiora and Sean Sands from Springston. Regular and popular competitors in the mainland series.
That's serious anti-lag on that car. Spends more time decelerating than accelerating, but hey.
Just keep flying.
The sun's coming out, Grant. I'm going to need me sunnies.
Ah, sunny Otago. And perhaps Brent Taylor and Chris Ramsey may be next on the stage.
Joe Quantock?
No,
Quantock?
it is indeed.
Job?
So here we are. This is Joe Quantock. We were missing Joe earlier, so had some issues, but back in the action. And their Skoda R5. So Job's lost a little bit of time. Of course, he was just ahead on the road of Scott Simpson in the Volkswagen Golf that we haven't seen either. So obviously Job's got going, but not sure whether Mr. Simpson is back in the event.
Ryan, keep coming.
So perhaps we have
Brent
Brent Taylor. Yep, he is coming next.
Still on Ryan.
With Rambo in the hot seat, Chris Ramsey from Hamilton.
And Rambo's done quite a bit of the prep work on this car, and they certainly got it sounding pretty sweet. From a distance, you wouldn't think it was a Subaru. course, the Toyota designed this car with the idea of using the Subaru flat 4 boxer engine to keep the weight low as possible. Aluminium, of course. North-south engine, so you can have your rear-wheel drive set up. Listen to this thing. Naturally aspirated, of course, no turbo, no anti-lag,
And Isaac.
just the sweet sound of a nicely tuned car.
And of course, Chris Ramsey, very good rally driver in his time as well, and his car actually is still competing in the event.
Well, we saw it smoking a little bit last night at the Super Stage, so I'm not sure whether they volunteered not to join the rally again today because they might have been doing the local mainland series, but hopefully
As the
wasn't too
drone
much
comes
of a
back,
series.
covering the MoMac Control Central, where all the pictures are edited and dispatched from. As here comes
okay,
this is Miles.
this is the one that's a little bit out of
Oh.
order,
Okay,
the V6 Nissan Stanza.
right. Okay, we wondered where he was. There he is.
Sounds pretty sweet, actually. Other Australian bringing over a different bit of a different flavour, different bit of music, sights to behold, music to be heard. Hey. Says Dave Strong is next. Sorry, Dave. Can't help it.
Bruce McKenzie.
Left foot braking, right hand accelerator foot. Working constantly on both.
And the little Honda Jazz.
This guy must have done over 300 rallies. Bruce McKenzie sitting beside him, probably done about the same.
Bruce McKenzie from Pyro, of course. Great stalwart of the Thames Valley Car Club, Bruce McKenzie. Dave Strong in the Honda Jazz car number 40. Next on the road will be Mike Sheehan from Queenstown. His co-driver Glenn Goldring from Auckland, and they're in a little Ford Fiesta R2. Obviously entered in NZRC 2 category. Just while we wait for the little Ford Fiesta to come into screen, you'll see online our GoFundMe.com page if you'd like to go and make a donation towards the expenses of the volunteer crew from MoMac here, providing the live streaming coverage. Of course, the accommodation, the fuels, the petrols, the live streaming would not happen without the volunteer operators and the expenses to get here, so we appreciate any support you can give us on the GoFundMe page. There goes Mike Sheehan, Glenn Goldring, Ford Fiesta R2.
Hayden Patton, of course, smashed the record again on the stage. I can't say enough about that guy. Ben Hunt, Brendan Reeves, actually second equal. Matt Summerfield 2.4 seconds behind. So those three having a great rally, swapping times amongst them. Matt was second in the last stage. Good to see Brendan Reeves back in the action. Both Brendan and Matt, of course, had dramas yesterday, so their overall result won't be that fantastic. Matt might be creeping up the field. He started today 30th. We'll keep you an update where he landed by the end of the day's running.
That's Phil Macquarie from Tauranga and Noel Maloney, the Subaru Impreza WRX. Head through the junction in car number 38.
You might remember a starlet runner back in the days of the Group A cars, big Group A 1300 class in the early 80s was Brett Hill from Hamilton. Phil Macquarie
Yes.
used to crew for him.
Okay.
Many years later, Phil comes back with a powerful Impreza, and I'm not sure what happened to Brett. I haven't seen him for a few years.
As Wayne Pittams, also from Tauranga, comes into the scene, with Chris Davison from Auckland sitting beside him. As we mentioned, Wayne Pittams competed in Datsun 1200s, Escorts, then had the Lancia Delta Integrale, retired, and has come back in the last couple of years with this magnificently built Ford Escort. Wayne Pittams in car 46.
Imagine what the Integrale would be worth nowadays, Grant. That would be a collectible classic. A delectable collectible. Oh, I should have brought my dictionary.
Actually,
Just
drove
make it
that
up
car
as I
through
go.
the streets of Hamilton, had to park. It was a left hooker. It was all sorts of fun trying to do that.
Okay. The gear stick's on the other side. You got to use your other hand. Give you a hint for nothing.
Thanks. It's more the vision of trying to get out of that park. Parallel parking. Anyway,
Young Wayne Robury. That is a sweet sounding style. Whoa, 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 whoa. A little bit wide on the exit there, but hey. Just a quick visit to the scenery. There's plenty of that down here.
Wayne Mowbray and
Oh!
Callum
Oh! Oh, Wayne, what have you done, mate? Okay, where's the drone? Do I have to run down there and push?
Can't see much.
Just a spin?
Oh, just a spin. He's going again.
Didn't fall over?
No, he's off.
Oh, God, I don't know. Put the
Wayne Robury and Callum Smith with a little whoopsie and a whoopsie in the Toyota Starlet. But
What's
continuing on to the end of Special Stage 12. As David G and Liam G come into picture from Blenheim in their Subaru Impreza WRX car 34.
That right-hander down here, just where Wayne had a little bit of an oopsie, that's actually a little bit of a tricky corner. Saw somebody earlier go a little bit wide there.
So we just wait for Nick Marsden and Peter Colvett to come through in their Toyota Levin. Look, we just have some news through on Graham Cowie. Graham Cowie had went off on stage 9. It was a big crash, and he's in Oamaru Hospital at the moment. He has broken his arm, waiting for the doctors to do their assessment, I think. But that's sad for Graham Cowie,
Oh, sad to hear.
and so he'll be, big crash, broken arm, stage 9 for Graham Cowie. So sad news, Graham. Unfortunate accident for him on stage 9. And here comes Nick Marsden
Is that in there?
and Peter Colvett in the Toyota Levin.
Graham in one of the Lancer Turbo EX rear-wheel drive cars. Bit of a shame to hear that news, Grant. Been a long time competitor, great advocate for the sport. Sad to hear anybody ending up in a hospital. Makes you wonder how bad the car is as well, of course, but I guess that's the sport. The roll cage probably did its job, the Hans device, the helmet, etc.
As David Taylor from Marlborough comes into view with Jared Hudson calling the pace notes beside him, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 7 car 39. The next car on the stage should be the Australian competitors of Jared McConkey and Eric Johnson in one of these Subaru Impreza 6-cylinder models.
The H6 model. 3 of them running in Australia. I don't think I've ever seen 3 of them in my life. I've never seen 3 in one day. This sounds pretty sweet.
I think we should
I think the
have,
hills are alive.
with the sound of.
I'm going to have to get my sunnies.
So I think the next one on the stage could well be Brodie Anderson from Dunedin, and Alana Grant in a Ford Escort Mark II. Yes indeed, here they come, Brodie Anderson and Alana Grant in their Ford Escort car number 52.
Peace.
As the live streaming coverage from the MoMac team continues here in special stage 12, the second pass through the Windsor stage, 25 kilometres long, and I think Mark Parsons from Drury and Darren McDonald from Auckland in another one of the 6-cylinder Subaru Imprezas should be next, and they are car 45. And as the 6-cylinder Subaru Impreza of Mark Parsons heads away, we wait for the Duratec Ford Escort Mark II of Phil Thomas from Australia, and co-driven by Alex Gelsomino from the US of A.
You still hear that H6 in the distance. Sweet.
This sounds like Phil Thomas. Ooh. There's Phil Thomas heads
What's that, eh? You've got hammer.
towards the finish line of special stage 12, the second part of the stage. We wait for Jason Keach from Burkina Faso in a Mark Escort RS Mark I car number 44. The next car to come through will be that of David and Jack Burkett from Leaston. In car number 56. here come the Bearcats. I believe this will be the Bearcats from Leaston. And the Toyota live-in.
Yep.
The Bearcats heading through the stage, and just to look where the competitors are heading from here, they then go into Bobbing Creek 2, the second pass through that stage for today, 22 kilometres long. That's special stage 13, and that's got underway for the first cars at 11:25 this morning. So I guess the leading cars will be heading back into the final service at Oamaru for 25 minutes before doing the final 2 stages of the day. As we see, it must be the BMW of Reed. Indeed it is.
Yeah, was it Boston? Was it a Boston type?
It's a little MR2. You jumped some.
Is that quite sure where? So it was Gavin Reed and Josh Lancashire that was in the BMW, and it's got a few cars that are starting to run out of the order they came through this morning. So we'll just see. Next one onto the stage looks like it is Neville Kidd. Neville Kidd and Andy Reid and a Ford Escort Mark II.
Looks like the starlet that retired earlier, Grant's just been kicked into life again. Just down in front of us on the intersection. It's like they've lifted up the tape for him to re-enter the stage, picked up a Zector triangle.
You can see him backing back onto the stage for Rob McConaughey. So Rob McConaughey and Sean Turner and the Toyota Starlet 1600.
Just waiting.
Just waiting, I think, yes, you can see, waiting for the next competitor to come through, and then they will make their way out of the stage. So this will be Neville Kidd.
Oh. It was very gentlemanly of the guy in the Starlet not to go out in front and create dust unnecessarily for the ones that are still competing for time.
So it looks like a few others have dropped down the order, so no Tony Quinn at this stage, because it looks like the next car on the stage is going to be our Japanese friends Komoto Kondo and Ayaso Kono in the Suzuki Swift. Brian Terry and Brendan Olsen in the Toyota MR2 that went through before. And coming into screen now, yep, is the Suzuki Swift of Kimoto Kondo from Japan, car number 76. And they were followed into the stage by Kevin Lynch from Hara, with Dean McCrosty from Milton in their Ford Fiesta car number 66. So it looks like there may be just a few retirements or delays, certainly for drivers at the back end of the field. As into screen comes Kevin Lynch, Dean McCrosty in their Ford Fiesta car 66.
Oop, bit of a Scandi. Whoop. Bucked back the other way. Caught it again. All arms and legs.
Andy Gillies from Arrowtown and Nathan Pilcher from Auckland in the Toyota Levin AE85 should be our next car on the stage, and they are in car number 70. The sky is certainly clearing looking at the horizon shot, and we can see more and more blue sky, a little bit of sun appearing, so it's turned out to be not such a bad day for day 2 of the Otago Rally Fest, the Drive Safe Rally Fest for 2019. So Andy Gillies and then Ben Hayes are the next couple of cars that have already entered the stage.
Now, Grant, I was just thinking about the state of the roads. I mean, we've had how many cars go through? I know it might not have been 120 like yesterday, but certainly over 100. And we're getting to the tail end of the next second 100 going through, and there's the road's just like it was when we got here. There's no grooves, there's no ruts, there's no, the road's not what you would consider damaged in any way at all. Obviously, a very hard base. You can understand why the councils don't mind the rally coming back into their district, because they don't really do any damage at all.
Thank you.
This is Andy Gillies from Arrowtown, Nathan Pilcher from Auckland, and the Toyota Levin AE85 car number 70.
I think the next one through might be the Holden Commodore. I might have to tell my nephew just to stand back a little bit. James, the Aussies are coming!
Get the stone shield up.
Yeah.
He seems to have been in the bad spot today, this weekend. He seems to have got the stones every time they flick them. So, poor James.
He's a novice at this game. He doesn't quite know where to stand.
I think we might need an extra $5 dropped into the fund crowd for some plasters, I think. So if you could
He took one behind the ear, actually. He's putting it out last night to me. He says, oh, yeah. Here we go.
Here it is.
Oh!
Lick it.
Oh, yeah. That's what we're talking about. Putting on a show.
Oh. Who needs to go to Phillip Island to see a Commodore in action?
One of our cameramen, Todd, down there standing on the junction, he just got sprayed.
You alright there, Todd? Give us a thumbs up. You alright, matey?
Hey Todd, give us a thumbs up if you're all good.
Both arms up. He's waving. He's happy.
We'll give him a shower later. Oh no.
Do we have to pay for that?
Oh, it should be checked out, doesn't it?
Depends how much you raise.
Yeah. Yeah, a few more dollars for a shower would be handy too. Alrighty.
Oh,
Now this will be
I'm actually wondering, was that
Alexander.
number 65, Daniel Alexander from Auckland, Katrina Renshaw's co-driver, an 1800cc Starlet. A little bit of a different flavour. Whoop, he's slowing down.
We've got a car slowing as our next one comes
He stopped. I think he's got a puncture.
into screen. And this should be Raymond Wilkinson and Ryan Wilkinson from Invercargill and their Toyota Torino. From Invercargill, the Wilkinsons. And we've just heard that Mats Osberg set a new classic stage record in the of 21:58 special stage 10 Bobbing Creek this morning. In stage 10, Matt Salzberg set it at 12:53.7, and that stage record in 10, which is Bobbing Creek, previously held by Australian Neil Bates in his Celica RA40 at 13:09.4.
That smashed it, didn't he?
And a special call out to Trevor Lawson this morning for $100 donated into the GoFundMe. Thank you, Trevor. I think that might cover the plasters and the shower.
Trevor
Indeed.
Lawson.
That's Trevor.
Thank you,
Magnificent fellow. Trevor, thank you very much. Thank you kindly. Yes, indeed. He probably gave us $100 for the good drone work that of the pilot of MoMac. Thanks, Trevor. So, following the Wilkinsons, we should have Weekly coming. We had, and then the next car following that, I think. Oh yeah, Mike Weekly and Phil Walker in their Ford Escort, and just ahead of them, which I think is also running a wee bit out of order, will be Paul Lahe from Australia with Roger McNaughton in the Toyota Altessa RS200. So we wait for Mike Wheatley as we can hear who's coming in trouble down on the stage.
That was
And
that little red starlet. It sounds like he's got it going again. I'd say they probably had a puncture, eh?
So here comes Mike Wheatley and Phil Walker. Mike from Auckland and Phil Walker from Rangiora in their Ford Escort car number 75. And possibly just another couple of competitors to come. So waiting on Paul Lahef and Roger McNaughton. There it is in the Toyota Altessa RS200.
Alteza.
All the way from Australia, car 63.
Good on him.
And the
Another
final
different flavour.
car to enter the stage should be Cowan Chu from Australia with Dennis Nagel They are car number 5 in the Suzuki Swift.
Dodge, zoom in, dodge, zoom in, zoom in.
So what a magnificent spot this has been, Ross, for the coverage here. Special stage 12, 9 this morning, a repeat of this, and it's been a fantastic posse to be watching and to bring the live streaming to our viewers from.
Well, we've been talking about family all weekend, Grant, and it's probably quite appropriate that it's actually your son that's MoMac social media, and young Ryan came down and did the reconnaissance around here a couple of 3 weeks ago, and he spotted this one, and obviously it took a little bit of thought to put together because we had to drive through a cocky's paddock, bit of extra effort gone into finding the spot, but it's actually worked out pretty good. We've had about 35 seconds worth of footage per car.
Dodge, zoom in.
I think that's amazing.
Now zoom in. Just zoom in a little bit. Have a look.
And here comes Mr. Chu, the final car into the stage with Dennis Nagel, the Suzuki Swift car number 5. And with just 2 stages to go, Regan Ross is hunting down Derek Asen. Now just 6 seconds off him for second in the Classic with 2 stages to go. So 6 seconds between Regan Ross and Derek Asen. It's all to play for.
Golden bar.
Well, there we are. There's Mr. Chu, our final competitor through the stage. So that wraps up our coverage here from Special Stage 12, Windsor 2. On behalf of the commentary team and the MoMac crew, we pack up now and head to Special Stage 15, the very final stage of the rally, and we will be talking to the competitors as they come to the finish line. On behalf of the crew, good afternoon for now.